All right, whenever I dive into the charts, I get excited to bring what I've found to you guys. I'm going to be covering a stock today that's had an incredible ascension in 2023. It was actually the second best performing big tech stock, second only to King Nvidia. We know why Nvidia went up and this stock went up for the exact same reason, the opportunity of AI that lays ahead of us in 2024 and beyond. This stock has provided a nice ride up for its shareholders. In just 2023 alone, it went up 190%. Now, if we count the low of 2022 that was in November to the absolute peak, this thing has gone up over 340%. We're talking about King Zuck's Meta platform, aka Facebook. His personal wealth had plummeted at the end of 2022 going into November. It looked dark and scary if you were a Meta platform investor. He was putting all of his money into the metaverse, but he woke up and he turned the boat around and he did what Wall Street loves, which is to cut costs. He declared 2023 to be the year of efficiency. This has been a theme on this show to try to explain to the larger, broader audience that's getting into the investment world that what Wall Street wants is higher profit margins. And the reason why Meta had been driven all the way down to a low of $84 was because Mark was spending money with unclear direction and unrealized results in the metaverse. But when he turned around and began to cut costs, that got Wall Street's attention. And then you add it to the AI opportunity, and that's why this thing took the form of a rocket ship and it's been flying and soaring ever since. Now, the big question that we've got to ask ourselves is how much higher can this thing go? Are the charts losing momentum? And what is the next buy zone if we get a pullback on Meta? This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hitting the like. Say hi in the comments to feed the algorithm for me. Now, I'm going to be going into a nice dive into all of the big tech stocks. It's time to evaluate all of these, having gotten through 2023 to see what is the real opportunity ahead in 2024. It's what I'm going to be doing, so click the subscribe button so you don't miss a single one of these videos. All right, let's just kick things off with some trending news, which will shape the way that we view the rest of the technicals, because the fundamentals and the technicals work together to give us a big picture view of where the stock price might be going. The goal is to buy low and sell high. It's just that simple, folks. So in the news on Meta, but not Meta directly, is all of AI. Reuters said that 2024 is not the year of the AI gadget. And here was the big concern. I'm going to read to you a little bit of this article and give you guys my synopsis in a minute. We're still trying to get it all to work, said Jay Goldberg, chief executive of D2D Advisory. You need the silicone and the software, and it's only been a year since ChatGPT launched. People are still getting on board. The lackluster showing was an inauspicious beginning to a year when investors are expected to look for signs of financial returns from the billions of dollars of investment committed to the heavily hyped generative AI sector. So here's what this article is saying in a nutshell. Billions and billions of dollars has been invested on the part of shareholders by big tech into the AI space. And what this guy is coming out and saying, and what the warning here from Reuters is that even though this is perhaps the right direction, we're not going to get the big returns in 2024 because there still needs to be some silicone development. We're talking about hardware and some software follow through. And as a result, one of the other things it said is that after that initial spike from ChatGPT, the interest of the retail community, it's waned a little bit. People are beginning to lose interest because some of the hope or the excitement of what they would experience is not yet ready. So even though I think that Meta is absolutely going to be driven by AI, we need to take this warning into consideration because the warning points to how soon we might see the bigger run-up in the stock price. Now, we've enjoyed a huge run-up, so we're going to look at the charts and see how exactly the two of these things are going to play out. Before I get into the technicals specifically, let me take a quick station break for the Moomoo investment app. Guys, if you need better trade tools and you need to start trading with more information, I think that the Moomoo app offers that. You can click on the link that I leave in the top pinned comment. I'll also leave the same link in the description of the video. If you click on that link and you're in the US, Australia, and Canada, you can check out the offer that's available for you there. Here in the US, they're giving away up to 15 free stock, as well as a 5% 5.1% interest rate return just for leaving your cash in your account. That would work pretty well for getting set up to make big investments on the pullbacks that are coming in 2024. Click on that link and check it out. Get the free stuff and start investing with better trade tools. All right, we're going to kick things off by looking at the technicals. Now, there's a million technicals that I could run for you guys, but I'm just going to focus on three charts, three things I want you guys to see in the charts today. The first one, and probably the most important, is the RSI, Relative Strength Index. This measures the momentum of the stock. So what does the RSI, or the momentum of the price action of Meta, look like right now? It looks terrible. We're talking extreme bearish divergence. What exactly is bearish divergence again? Well, that's when the price action moves up, but the momentum of buyers is moving down. And so we do not have confluence between the two. Typically, bearish divergence like this signals that the move up is slowing down significantly, and I would say that the bearish divergence on the Meta chart has been showing a slowdown for quite a while. Bearish divergence alone will not tell you when the price will turn around. It's just telling you that it is getting closer and closer each and every day to a turnaround moment. Now, I want to show you the same RSI chart with a trend line that I've drawn because I've already identified where I want to see the momentum come back to in the coming days to create a new buy signal for me. And now here's the main point of this. I'm watching Meta for myself and I'm watching it for you. If you guys want to get that buy signal when it comes back and touches my line of support, you got to hit subscribe on this video to stay connected. Okay, the next thing that we want to look at is significant support and resistance lines. We want to take a step back and look at what the big picture view is. Where could a swing low be? Where could the swing high resistance be? We're talking support and resistance. And so here's what is obvious, guys, and a lot of charting is obvious. We're getting ready to test the all-time high on Meta. Now, we are only 2% from touching $384 right now, and that's going to be strong resistance because that's where the price failed before. Now, here's the point I want to make to you guys about support and resistance. The one that I'm watching the most is the 200-day moving average because all of big tech, as well as a lot of our favorite stocks, are currently trending back to their 200-day moving average to test support. Now, that's sort of an environment that's looking at whether a stock is going to break down long term. It points to where the stock's going to go in 2024, or whether we're going to find support, bounce off that, and move higher. Now, in a recent video, I looked at Apple stock. It came down to the 200-day moving average, and it bounced. We can expect more than one attempt to find support at the 200-day moving average, but here's what's going on with Meta. This thing has been absolutely soaring. It has not even one time since November of 2022 come back to touch the 200-day moving average. That's showing extreme relative strength compared to the rest of big tech. When we do stop going up, we can absolutely expect this thing to come back and test that 200-day moving average like the rest of big tech has, and that's where we're going to be looking for a potential area to buy back in. And from the price we're sitting at today, it would be a 20% drop to come back and test that zone. Now, the third thing that is a big picture view of the chart is that we have broken over our 52-week previous high. Now, that's something that we want to see all of big tech do because until it breaks over the high of 2022, then we are still in a downtrend. Now, most of big tech has done this as well as Meta, which gives us a bullish outlook for Meta going forward. Now, just a quick comment about Tesla. I pointed out in the last two videos that we have failed to get over $315 on Tesla in the course of all of 2023, which is causing us to have to be more sober-minded about the Tesla play. Until we get above that 52-week high in 2022 at $315, the trend is still bearish, and that's a big concern. But Meta's flying high above its 52-week high of 2022. All right, let's talk a little bit about the price action, and in that regards, we're going to ask three questions. What exactly is the price range right now? Well, I see the price range currently as defined between the resistance and support. I see resistance on the high end at the all-time high of $380, and I see support at the low end currently at $280, which would be a pullback to that 200-day moving average. And with that being the price range that we're currently in, the next question is, when might we get to our all-time high and beyond, or or when might we get a pullback to the 200-day moving average? And for perspective on that, I wanted you guys to look at how Apple stock did. It was one of the first big tech stocks that made a new all-time high in 2023, and we want to see how it interacted with its all-time high and how quickly it got back to its 200-day moving average. So Apple's journey was that after it got to its all-time high, it took an additional 42 days to make a new high, getting 8% higher than its all-time previous high. After that, it spent 100 days dropping down 16% to touch its 200-day moving average, and so there was a total of 142 days or 5 months before it created a swing low. Now that's what we're trying to see happen with Meta. It's in a swing high at the moment that's not finished, but once it reverses and begins to get some selling pressure and volume to the downside, we're going to see where it finds its ultimate swing low. And now at the moment, we're going to assume that may be the 200-day moving average, similar to Apple if they're both on a bullish track. And what I want you guys to take away from this particular segment is that this isn't all going to happen overnight. It took Apple largely 5 months to achieve this. Now, I think that that environment was in more of a bullish stage of the market still in 2023, and so Meta could get down faster and back up faster, but we want to consider that this overall move will take 3 to 5 months to play out for us to get to the place where we get that swing low. So again, the point of this segment is just about being patient. All right, let's get into some predictions on what I think the bullish or the bearish case for Meta is moving forward. Where can the price go, high and low? Let's start off with a bullish case. Now, if we have a soft landing macro environment in 2024, and if an election year is good for stocks, and if quantitative easing is good for stocks, then I think that Meta can hit $400 in 2024, then pull back to its raised 200-day moving average that I estimate could be around $330. Then after that, it could skyrocket 34% to $440 by the end of the year. Now, this bullish narrative carries a couple of assumptions with it. One, that the AI narrative continues to win, and that Meta proves through its earnings that it is winning at AI. So let's look at what the bears are hoping for, because the bears are drooling over Meta stock after its meteoric rise up over 300%. So they're going to be expecting that the macro environment is worse than expected, and they're going to be saying that when we get to the current all-time high, that it's going to make a double top and be a bearish indicator. They're going to be assuming that we're going to get a faster and harder pullback to support probably around $300 to the $280 zone, and that after that, the price would largely just move sideways and consolidate until the earnings proved that they were winning at AI. And then it could possibly make a year-end push up to that $380 to $384 range again, where it would have a triple top, which would be essentially a bullish triangle and a potential breakout at the end of 2024. Their bearish assumptions would be supported by the fact that they think that the market and stocks and Meta in particular is too expensive at the end of 2023, and that they're not going to be in a position to realize the potential gains of AI until sometime in 2025. Now, to be clear, in the big picture view, I'm absolutely bullish on Meta moving forward as far as a long-term investment. But I definitely want to wait for a better moment to load up on Meta, even though it's continuing to climb, and I expect it to hit its all-time high here very, very soon. To me, that's a great opportunity for some call options. But as far as a long-term add to my portfolio, I definitely want to see some kind of a flash crash. It would be very justified because of the huge move up at any given moment. If we got a bad week in these markets due to some inflation data that wasn't coming out as expected, this thing can flash all the way down to its 200-day moving average, and that's where I would be incentivized to buy and add more. All right, guys, my next video is actually going to be on Netflix, and I think that chart is perhaps one of the most interesting charts out of the big tech stocks to look at right now. If you're a Netflix investor, don't miss it. Guys, if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like for me. Hit the subscribe if you want to get that next video. Peace and blessings. Take care. We'll see you in the Discord.